Okay, yeah, sure. Good stuff. Okay.
Close enough.
Close enough. Hey, no, you know what? I'm actually, this is a good way to intro it. Hey everyone, welcome back to GameBusters. We have been on a little bit of a break. But we are, you know what? No, this is a good time to say we're not settling for close enough anymore. This is going to be a 100. We're gonna put 110% into this product going forward.
And that's a good time for me to announce my departure, I guess. I'm joking. I'm still here, bringing it down.
That was too much of a plot twist for me to handle.
Yeah, that was
right
like,
now.
I was like, oh my god. It's like live on the show too.
Yeah, that's what I'd do. Keep everyone on their toes, you know.
Right. Okay. So, anyway, this is the GameBusters podcast. It's back, baby, and we're stronger than ever. We built up our muscles over the break. We've been doing lots of sit-ups. And what else do people do for muscles?
I did like one push-up.
Ooh,
so
a whole push-up.
I took a walk yesterday.
I don't think I've left this room all day. I've just been working since 9 and I'm at the same desk.
But you are in your pink gamer girl chair, yes?
It's actually purple. It's I almost went for the one, the typical gamer girl one with the cat ears on it and everything, but it just went with nothing else in my room, so I had to keep it simple, unfortunately.
So Crown Royal bag instead of bubblegum. Okay.
Yeah, it's not...
Yeah. Good enough. So yeah, I am Nirav. So just a quick refresher. I did have brain surgery about 2 weeks ago. Went well, obviously. I am alive.
And talking coherently.
And talking just as good as I do. And so all good. And I will be doing more brain things later this year, but none of them will be putting me out of commission for any time, to my knowledge. So we're gonna do some stuff with lasers later. It's gonna be cool.
Ooh.
Yeah. They can. This is a concept that I guess I hadn't thought of before, but it is becoming more common. What they're gonna do is called radiosurgery, which is where they can do surgery on the inside of your body without cutting your skin by use of lasers.
That's pretty bloody cool.
Yeah, it's they change the intensity of the heat of the laser beam at different points in the beam so that it passes through your skin harmlessly, and then inside it burns. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It kind of blows my mind that that's actually possible.
Yeah.
I know, it's crazy. It's relatively new. I think they only started doing it 10 years ago ish, and now it's sort of it's called, by the way, the thing that's called gamma knife radiation.
I have heard that phrase before.
Yeah, and so there's actually only 3 gamma knife centers in the US. I think there's one in Charleston, which is great because that's near where I am, and then there's one in Buffalo and one in California somewhere. But it's pretty crazy technology. Things are neat now. So yeah. Anyway, we're back, and I'm Nirav. I'm still Nirav. I checked.
Nirav 2.0 now.
I'm Nirav. Well, I think I have. Okay, I don't know if this is ever. Have you guys ever thought about this? If my life is a book or a TV show, what season are we on right now?
Oh God. That's a scary
I guess it depends on how the seasons would get split up.
It's got to be because I always think of when some climactic thing happens, maybe that was the season finale, you know?
Also depends on where the pilot episode started, so.
Yeah, that's true. Was it just me as a baby? Because that's not an interesting show.
No, and then tonally it would be quite different. I feel the fans would be complaining that the current episodes are nothing like the first.
I think that has happened though.
It's one of those genre shifting TV shows.
Yeah, it's an anthology. So I'm
American Nirav
so
story.
Sorry. American Nirav story. I'm actually as much as I don't want to watch that show, I kind of do. 'Cause I don't want to see myself locked in an asylum, but I also do kind of see. You want to watch? Okay, so you want to watch a show about me being locked in an asylum?
No, myself. Me. I think it could be entertaining, but probably only to me.
Right. Okay, so I am joined as always by my lovely co-host Rhi.
Howdy, howdy.
And then we are joined by our guest Axel from GameLuster.
Howdy.
And returning guest star Kyle from MTV's The Real World.
Howdy times 3.
Hey. Great cowboy cast this time. I like this.
Yeah.
Hey, it's the Texas in me coming out at least.
That's true. He's a Texas boy. Wait, Axel, where are you from? You're from like that area, right?
Arizona, and
Arizona,
yeah,
right?
And it is, it's one of those things. People will say howdy, and nobody bats an eye. It's like
I love that vibe.
Yeah, because like I don't know, Rhi, do people say howdy a lot over there across the pond?
I'm from like the farm bit of England, so like they should, but they don't. It's just like, oh, you're right. And to be fair, you don't even say that, because, like, I'm from the south, so if you stare at someone for too long, they'll call the police, so, yeah.
Is it kind of like the opposite of how it is here?
It's kind of like, I hear that New York is like that, so...
Yeah,
we're very much...
Down here, in the U.S., the south is the place where, like, we all wave to each other outside and smile and make conversation with strangers and stuff.
Even though we secretly hate everybody. Yeah.
Oh, we do, yeah.
Yeah.
No, make no mistake.
That was a culture shock because I went to Florida and everyone was very chatty there. And then I went to Ireland and it was the same thing over there. Like, Tim and I were just like walking through this village and he was like saying hi to everyone. I was like, are you just like the most popular person in Ireland? What the hell's going on? He's like, no, it's just a thing. It's like, what do you mean?
You just say,
who are these people? I like it though. It's quite wholesome.
Yeah. Alright, so today we are returning to form here, and we are going to be discussing Horizon Zero Dawn. So, just up front, Rhi, I know you haven't played this game. Do you know anything about it?
Ginger hair lady. I know that there was a lot of controversy because she looked like a human being in the sequel.
Oh yeah, I forgot about like the picture of like her and then like the makeup version.
Yeah, like she didn't take the time to, put an hour's worth of makeup on her face, which is really fucking disgusting. Yeah. Obviously the West has fallen. We should just abandon society because video game lady not hot. So that's all I know.
The problem is like, no, I don't know. One of the many problems is like, she looked better before he did this to her also.
That's the thing. It was a very bad redesign that the fan did. It was genuinely
higher
disgusting.
fans, lol. Okay, so yeah, we are. Let's just ease in first quickly. We'll go around and say what we've been playing. So, Rhi, kick us off. What have you been doing?
Oh wow. It's been a week. I've just been sort of plodding along with the same games I've been playing for ages. I'm getting an Xbox soon, so I'm gonna get Game Pass. So but this bit will actually be interesting. But for now, almost finished Dragon Age Origins again. Up to the final boss in that. And yeah, sort of slowly getting there with Final Fantasy VIII. It's like a little bit better.
You've been playing that for like a month, and like you've hated all of it.
I have. I had some interesting messages from fans.
Oh yeah, people were very upset.
They really were not happy that I could. Like I thought that was like the safest opinion piece to write ever because I never see anyone praise Final Fantasy VIII, and then I did that opinion piece saying that I thought like the opening was bad.
I think it's one of those things where like there's like there is a small group of people, but they're very, very powerful. Like the only person I've ever heard say something positive about Final Fantasy VIII, like it is also their favorite game of all time. They think it's a masterpiece. 10 out of 10.
So it's those sort of things. It's not like, I thought it was pretty good.
Sort of a thing.
Yeah, because it was like the weakest criticism ever. Like I get the headline was I guess pretty inflammatory, but like I didn't think it was that inflammatory because I didn't think people really liked Final Fantasy VIII.
Needed those gamer clicks.
Yeah, but also like in the piece I'm like praising the hell out of Final Fantasy 7 and 10. And particularly 7, because I think that opening is really great. So I was just saying, alright, I think Square kind of dropped the ball with the next game. But no, like I got screamed at saying that I don't play video games. That I don't understand.
Right, fake gamer girl.
Yeah, I'm a fake gamer girl. I don't understand Final Fantasy. It's too complicated for my feeble mind.
To be fair, Final Fantasy might be too complicated for anybody.
That's the thing, yeah. But
you might
it
need
gets
some
better.
shrooms or something. It depends on your outlook.
For sure. But no, I'm plodding along with it. It definitely does get better. I still don't like the opening, but I definitely think it gets better.
Okay. Yeah. So, Axel, what are you playing?
I've been playing the Frontiers update to No Man's Sky.
Oh yeah, how is it?
If I got a significant chunk of playtime, I could probably give you a better idea. I'm thinking, I'm a fan of No Man's Sky. I've been a long time player. I've been enjoying the hell out of it for 5 years now, and this actually feels like it might have been the first misstep since release. There's a lot of built-in timers and whatnot. It's got that slightly greasy mobile game feel to it, and on the one hand, I can understand. Oh yeah, we don't want people just burning through the content in a day and having nothing to do. But at the same time, the timers and the time gating is just a pain in the ass. And it's irksome because you're sitting around, you're doing a lot of nothing, and you'll occasionally get a message saying, "Oh, hey, yeah, go back to your settlement." I had the hardest time actually getting the settlement. Something, it wouldn't be a No Man's Sky expansion launch if there weren't bugs. But it's still No Man's Sky. I think there's potential for systems later on, but right now it's like,
The big thing I saw in this update was that they've added settlements, like there are cities and like working NPCs with like routines and everything, which I'm kind of excited about. That seems pretty cool.
It sounds cooler than it actually is. Right now, the settlement that I've got is small. It's dinky, and again, there is so much time gating going on that you're basically sitting around doing a whole lot of nothing. You can pop in, get the materials for the next stage of whatever building it says it needs, and then log off. And you're doing nothing. I believe they have been adjusting the timers here and there. There have been at least 2 or 3 hot fixes so far. When it first started, some of them were going up to like 4 hours between building phases.
And, bloody hell, that's bad.
Yeah, that's really bad. They seem to have knocked it down in some regards to like 20 minutes, which is more tolerable. At least gives
that's at least vastly better than 5 hours.
Yeah, but right now, even when you finish a building, there's not a whole lot for you to do. I've had like one social interaction or one decision among the settlements, like, yeah, do you want to side with this colonist or this colonist? And it's like, okay, colonist B, you've just made your colony unhappy. Well, damn, dude, I thought I was trying to, I didn't.
You can't please them all.
Yeah,
you can't.
And
you can't please like the big T-Rex head with the little arms and also the tentacle eye creature.
No, these are all either Korvax, Vy'keen, or Gek. They're one of the 3 main races. It's not any of the creatures there. The debt mechanic is just irksome. and you're hearing a lot of people saying, why can't I pay off my colony's debt? It's like, I'm swimming in credits. I don't do anything with them. Let me spend something.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they've done like sort of a reverse capitalism.
Kind of, sort of. Basically, the settlement is in debt, and it's racking up the debt at a pretty good clip until you build stuff. So.
Okay, so this is actually capitalism too, where you continue to accrue debt, but even if you have the money, you're not allowed to pay it off.
Yeah, basically, it will be. Yeah, I think the theory is that at some point it will get built up enough that it will start generating a positive cash flow, and also maybe getting rid of the unpleasant aspects of the settlement, the things that are making people unhappy.
Right. Sure. Well, I will probably dip in with a friend in a couple weeks and kind of check it out. I'm a little curious. Okay, Kyle, what have you been up to?
Well, I finally beat. Oh shit! What was it that I beat?
Very memorable.
I beat the Mass Effect Legendary Edition since last time, and immediately started a new game. Obviously,
has to be done.
As you do.
What is wrong with the Mass Effect people? What's happened to them?
We can't play another game. It's the only game.
I mean, I did a Paragon run, and I'm like, okay, I need to be a renegade now. and I'm actually doing my first run on the hardest difficulty. So.
Oh, good luck! I'm doing that right now. It
remains to be seen if I rage quit at some point.
That's why I haven't completed Legendary Edition yet. I'm refusing to put the difficulty down, and it's an interesting decision.
Yeah, there's a specific part in Mass Effect 2 that I'm 100% expecting that I'm just going to just quit and not play for months after that. But we'll see. Remains to be seen. I also beat Far Cry 3.
Hey, nice. What'd you think of it?
Week and a half ago. It was pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah.
It holds up, I think. Did you
make the decision to kill all of your friends and have sex with the island lady?
No, I did not. I saved my friends. I don't know why anyone would choose the other decision, but
okay, look, I do overall love that game, and I do think most of the narrative is great, but like the ending, just for anyone who hasn't played, is that all of your friends who you spent the entire like 20 hours like rescuing and like, risking death to gather together to get off the island, they're all huddled there, and you can either choose to have them ritually executed so that you can have sex with the island lady and then be ritually executed by her, or you can save them and kill her instead.
I mean, that's a real head scratcher, really.
It's a real head scratcher.
It's a real tough
really
decision,
that,
okay?
Yeah, that it's really in that gray area.
Do I want to be a praying mantis here?
Anyway, but it was that's a good game. I really like the I like the twist on having the the frat boy guy, kind of like being put through the ringer of like, these are the consequences of your actions. Yeah. Of your hubris.
I did not enjoy that the second villain is not nearly as entertaining as the first villain.
Yeah, that was probably my biggest problem, is that, like, because you really should have had to kill Hoyt before, like, you got to Voss. Because, like, it's weird because, like, Voss is, like, the main villain of the story, but you kill him, like, 3/4 of the way through, and then there's, like, a second bad villain you have to kill at the end.
He's just, like, generic, like, drug runner, slave trading guy.
If there was a movie, he would be played by Andy Serkis, though. I'm sure of it.
I could see it.
Yeah.
And then, other than that, I started Ghost of Tsushima this week.
Hey, cool.
And it is pretty damn good.
Yes, it is.
It is. To say. GameLuster's 2020 Game of the Year. Ooh.
And well.
Yeah. I really, really enjoyed it. Did you get the director's cut one, right?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, neat. Yeah, I'm interested to see, like, how that feels. I know that there's a lot of like minor upgrades here and there, but like, man, like I really, that game is so gorgeous, and it like deserves like the 4K 60 thing, like 100%.
Yeah. Well, too bad I'm playing on PS4, so.
Well, then you're canceled. All right. So for me, let's see. I have been mostly the last 3 days. I realized that I never finished. I got like 3/4 of the way through Yakuza Like a Dragon earlier this year when it came out, and it is a fantastic game. But I played like I think 28 hours of it in a week, and I just completely burned myself out because it was so good. I like could not stop, and I just like just destroyed my body and my soul. And then I was like, oh man, I need to finish this, and I jumped back in, and it is just as good as I remembered. Like, man, it boggles my mind that it did not get more praise last year. I think that people just like maybe don't know about it is probably the biggest problem.
Yeah. And it's one of those things that you almost feel like, oh wow, there is a Yakuza series. It's like, is this really a good place to get into the series, or is it, just, am I going to miss stuff if I don't?
I've heard 3 is the place to start. I don't know if that's true or
yeah,
not.
the Yakuza series is a little weird. Yeah, I've heard that as well. So Like a Dragon is a reboot, like with a new protagonist. It's a completely different kind of game. Like it's a turn-based RPG rather than just like a beat 'em up. And it is like a lot more in depth. Like it's like an open world thing with like all these like quests and stuff like that, and but it's like the narrative is so good. Like it is such a well written story, and I'm sure you've seen other people say this too, but like Ichiban, who is like the new protagonist of Yakuza, like might be like the most likable protagonist in like media, just a blanket statement. He is one of those guys that is just like, it is impossible to not root for him and just be like, I love this guy. Like I wish my attitude could be like half as good as his about anything. But like, it's such a cool concept because the reason it's turn-based is because the main character, Ichiban, is obsessed with JRPGs and he loves Dragon Quest. I almost said Dragon Age because Rhi has poisoned me. But he's obsessed with Dragon Quest, and he actually talks about Dragon Quest in the game a lot. And he's like, this is just like Dragon Quest, when he's like assaulted by a bunch of men in an alley. And like, that's not a joke at all. And so in his mind, like the way that the fights play out in his mind is as if they are a turn-based JRPG, and everyone is doing all these crazy overpowered moves, doing summons, stuff like that. But like in reality, what's happening is they're just like hitting each other in an alley, right? But like, it's such a neat concept, and it works so well. It's so smooth. And I 100% recommend this. It is easily one of the best games of 2020, so definitely check it out. It is a good place to... If you're not familiar with Yakuza, I think it's great because it is a reboot. It doesn't require any previous knowledge of that franchise. And so, yeah, definitely get it. And I'm probably going to be finishing it up, if not tonight, definitely tomorrow, because we have Labor Day off.
Yep.
Hey. Rhi, do you guys get a Labor Day somewhere in the year?
We get like several of them. We have like bank holidays, quite a few of them.
Well, I meant like a bank, like a holiday that is specifically like to celebrate the workforce, I guess.
Oh, we have May Day, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's always a really good time, actually. Yeah, you just like, we used to have these music festivals where like there's a bunch of unions there and you can sign up for them. That's really fun, actually.
I don't think we have that here.
Yeah, I was about to say.
It's a very niche thing here, I think.
Yeah.
I have heard that unions aren't a big old thing over there, so...
It depends where you are, because like in some areas of the country they definitely are, and in some areas of the country they don't exist, like down here. But like if you go up to like the New York area, like unions run the whole shebang, but then if you come down here they don't exist, so...
Oh wow, that's a big disparity there. It's a big leap.
It is so hard to describe to Europeans like how different parts of the country are. Like, I don't think they understand. Like, some parts of America are like as different as like Germany and like Lithuania, you know?
That's insane.
Yeah.
But like, I've only been to Florida, so I'm just assuming everywhere's like that.
Yeah, it's Disney World all the way down.
That's just not a great place to start, I think.
Yeah, Florida is not representative of America. It is
God.
right. But one small slice.
Okay.
It is. Florida is actually its own slice. It's sort of a because like I'm from the southeast. Like we do not claim Florida. Like that is a known thing. Florida is its own entity, and that's fine. Like it's not. It doesn't have to be a bad thing, but it is its own place.
It's an interesting place. I definitely enjoyed my stay there, but also almost like it was just fun to be there and sort of gawk at everything and go like, wow, people live like this, huh? And then leave and never go back.
That is a very good description of it. Okay, so let's try to get into it. I know we've been
Catching up.
Yeah, we've been rebooting ourselves here, trying to get back into it. So let's jump into the shit. So why don't what do you tell me? Because I think people know roughly what this game is, but like. Why don't Axel and Kyle, why don't you quickly explain to Rhi, I think, elevator pitcher on what this is?
Okay. Horizon Zero Dawn is basically an action-adventure game. It is set in I won't say post-apocalyptic. It is somewhat accurate, but it's more accurate to say a very far future and very... Yep. Almost neo-barbarism would probably be a closer description.
Yeah, that's a good idea. It's post-apocalyptic the same way that Zelda Breath of the Wild is.
Okay, I get you.
Yeah. You follow the adventures of Aloy, a girl who basically appears out of nowhere one day as an infant, literally a child without parents, who appears at a temple, who is raised by an outcast of sorts for a tribe, and who, when she reaches her, the age of majority, she decides, okay, I'm going to go through this, ritual trial to make myself a member of the tribe, and then I'm going to demand some answers. It's like, where did I come from? Where are my parents? What's going on? And as she does this, she does, finish the trial. She does succeed, and that's really the start of the adventure. She goes all over what is a slightly skewed version of what is now Colorado, and in the Forbidden Wilds, Wyoming, taking on a number of robotic pseudo-dinosaurs, as well as the tribes and sort of very weird Bronze Age cultures that have sprung back up. And she starts unraveling the mystery of what the machines are, what their purpose was, what happened to people. And she realizes that there are still some very big threats out there. That the world is a lot more fragile than she thought it was. And it's also a lot crazier. Kyle, do we want to spoil the twist or no?
No big spoiler right now, I think.
Okay.
But
yeah, I think for me the main thing is just these crazy robot animals go brrr.
So, Kyle, you did a little bit better job because Axel, you sort of took me into a Mass Effect 1 elevator there, and Kyle, I like the conciseness of a dinosaur go burr.
No, it's more, cave girl with shiny metal goes burr.
Yeah. I mean, that's like the general like start of the game, and I think that's like a pretty good, just sort of a pretty good summary to just like here's what to expect, and then the story just sort of twists off from there. It's a lot of fun.
Right, so
it's a lot of fun. It gets, to me, it got a little bit repetitive, at least the combat portion. But that's probably a later topic.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll get to to talking about the game in a bit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this was created by Guerilla Games. Guerilla Games is a studio based in the Netherlands that is a fully owned Sony studio. So they have been historically the studio that has made the Killzone games. Have y'all played any of those?
Yeah.
I played part of the first one.
I think Killzone's always been like moderately popular, but like I think it was one of those things where it's like it was just like a mainstay of PlayStation for a while, and eventually like Guerrilla Games was they kind of got tired of doing it, to be honest. Like, so what they said was that they were, when they released Killzone 3, they were like, all right, we don't want to make another Killzone game. Like, we're kind of done.
Yeah.
And we've run the idea out. And what we're going to do is have everyone in the studio can come up with a pitch for a game that we can make and just pitch it in a big meeting, and we're going to vote on it. It's a kind of a cool idea. So about 40 different people from the studio brought forward like a pitch idea for what they were going to do next. And this was, I believe, in 2011, yeah. So they... Jan Bart van Beek, who I'm sure I'm not saying his name right, the lead artist over at Guerrilla Games, is the one who ended up winning the pitch contest with their pitch for Horizon Zero Dawn. So they ended up writing about 20 different versions of the narrative for this, and then kind of comparing them all, and then selecting one based on the premise, which is I don't know if, I mean we've done a lot of like looking at like the creation, the IP creation, as it were, like process for a lot of different studios. I think this is really interesting how like crowdsourced it is from the studio itself, rather than just like this was some guy's idea and like, hey, I had this idea, go make it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yep.
So the one second, I lost myself here. So there were Rhi, you'll love this one. You ready?
Yeah, let's go.
You know who was the lead writer for this project? Hired on from outside was John Gonzalez, who was the lead writer for Fallout New Vegas.
Hey, that's nice.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm probably
So
gonna actually dust off this game and play it now.
Yeah.
I've had it for like 2 years. It's so bad.
Come
I
on.
know.
Yeah, it's good.
I think
So-
I do feel like it's one of those games where it's like you have it and you're like, do I actually want to start playing this? I'll play something else right now. But then
Yeah.
whenever you actually start playing it, you're like, ooh,
Yeah.
I gotta
Yes.
play this all the way through. Right.
So fun story. I actually had. So I didn't have a PS4 until I think 2018. I want to say ish. But I think when this game came out, it was such a huge deal. And I was in grad school at the time, so I like had 3 roommates in my apartment, and one of them did have a PS4, and he had it out in the main room, and I was like, oh shit, like I actually bought I think later in the year I got like for half price Horizon Zero Dawn, and I was like, I'm gonna play it on his PlayStation, and I like started that, and like I played for like one night for like 3 hours, but then I was like, the next day I was like, oh, the living room is so far from my bed, I'm never gonna make it out there. And like and then he ended up just playing it, and he just like bought it from me for the same price, which was fine. And I was like, I will get to this eventually. But like, yeah, I did actually basically have the same chronic situation of it sitting there for a year, where I could have been playing it, but I didn't.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I think it is just because it was a new, like when I got it, it's a new IP I don't know anything about. And they have like, I've got Dragon Age to replay. So that's taking up a lot of my precious time.
It's taken up a lot of mental real estate.
It's constantly on my mind. It's embarrassing.
Now, I was one of these guys that I picked it up specifically because I wanted to pick it up, and I unwrapped it, I threw it in the PS4, sat down and started playing it, because that was the plan. That was like, okay, I am not, I spent money on this, I at least want to get an hour, just 1 hour to see
Right.
what it's all about, and I got sucked in so hard.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was one of those things like, yeah, I'm just going to start for an hour, see how it is, get a little dinner. I think I clocked about 4 or 5 hours the first night, and I stop and I blink. It's like, wow, okay, I gotta stop because I have work in the morning.
Once I like sat down and actually started playing it, like when I got my own PS4, like later, I got a few hours into it. Like this was one of those games where it hooked me so much that like I did not play anything else until I finished this, like 60 hours later.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's continue on here. So, like I said, John Gonzalez came on as a narrative director from Fallout fame, and so the original pitch actually did have the character of Aloy and her general sort of design and everything, and she has remained roughly intact since that original pitch as she was presented, which is kind of fun. So the Guerilla Games actually Did I say cancer?
Yes, you did.
They canceled another game. Man. So when Killzone Shadowfall was finished in 2013, the rest of the entire staff, the entire studio was moved to begin working on Horizon Zero Dawn because it had been sort of in pre-production until then. And they actually were going to develop a second game alongside it. But once they started working on Horizon, they like saw the potential of it and were like, no, we want our whole team on this, and they canceled the other project. So Sony, by way of Shuhei Yoshida, I found this interview, admitted that they were extremely reluctant about having the main character be female, and they actually ran it through a bunch of focus testing before they allowed it to be done. And even after they ran it through all the focus testing, he said, like, we were extremely confident this was going to fail because of the female protagonist. And I was like, that's great, Shuhei. Thank you.
Wonderful stuff.
Love it. And he's like, oh, well, things are changing. It's not like it used to be. I was like, it sure isn't, Shuhei. Shoo. So, anyway, they budgeted about $50 million for this, so like pretty good for a AAA game, kind of the midway budget there. So this game, I remembered something. We'll talk about it in a second. So anyway, this game uses the Decima engine, which they were using on Killzone. So the Decima engine was created for like a shooter, right? Like it was supposed to be like a high intensity action kind of a thing. It was not really designed to be used for an open world environment like this, but they discovered that after spending a lot of time working on it, they sort of created an updated version of this engine that ended up working to my experience extremely well for what they were working with here. Like, it's I don't know, like, so I don't know, how do you guys feel about like the technical aspects of the game? Because I think it looks pretty great, and like I don't think I remember any like frame drops or anything like that. The draw distance was good.
Yeah, I think it worked really well, and I honestly I'm not even remembering any bugs or anything that came up in my playthrough. So I think it worked great, to my knowledge.
Yeah, it's weird actually. For some just kind of a weird aside, there was a tie-in in the game to Death Stranding, and I seem to remember hearing somewhere that they had been, or that they were using a variant of the Fox engine from Metal Gear Solid 5, but apparently I'm...
Oh, no, yeah, so Death Stranding actually also uses the Decima engine. And that was part of Kojima's contract with Sony. I think we talked about this in our Death Stranding episode, but this is something I just absolutely love, that when Kojima did sign that contract with Sony, they gave him full unrestricted use of their, they own this Decima engine, and in order for their studio to like learn how to use it, Kojima like had a little project where they recreated their studio inside of the engine with all of them, and they had a party inside of the studio in the virtual studio.
Cool. Yeah. From an engine perspective, yeah, it was just, it ran smooth. I cannot remember any frame drop. I can't remember any texture tearing. Visually and mechanically, it was solid, and that really helped make the gameplay and helped tell the story a lot better than, say, CDPR's Red Engine with Cyberpunk 2077.
Mm-hmm. Ooh.
If you're going to have a bad example, give a bad example.
I guess so. So this is also an RPG, and I think, and they said they wanted to go for a more relaxed RPG. Obviously, here it's not like one of these it's not like one of these JRPGs where there's like systems on systems on systems.
Yeah.
But I think the RPG stuff they add. So this may be a very unpopular opinion, but like, and I do really love God of War, the 2018 God of War, but like, I think like, I think it's kind of ruined by having all the RPG stuff in it. Not ruined. I would say it brings it down a little bit for me. It's still a great game, but I think this game is enhanced a lot by having that stuff.
Yeah. I don't look at it as an RPG per se. It kind of has RPG-like elements. But it is not, strictly speaking, an RPG. Aloy is always going to be Aloy. She's always going to have the.
She's not going to evolve into another Pokemon.
You don't necessarily have the option of deciding, okay, is Aloy going to be this giant bruiser or a stealthy assassin or something like this. She's always going to be Aloy. She's always going to have certain abilities. She's always going to have access to the same tools. It's always going to come down to how you choose to play her. And you can, if you want to go Leroy Jenkins with her, cool. Aloy Jenkins. As she charges, as she charges the giant monsters with her spear.
So
that's the episode title.
God, yeah, that's actually done. This was Kyle. Do you remember when we got drunk and we were trying to sort through that tier maker list of 100 video games?
No, I 100% remember that. The end of it's kind of vague, but
yeah, it did get vague at the end. But and you can watch that on our YouTube channel.
If you want to.
If you want to, I wouldn't recommend it. So
it's not the best.
The thing I remember just now is that every time that we came across a PlayStation game, Matt would just scream "No, it's just God of War again, D." Because no, they're every time we got to a traditional Sony, open world action adventure game with RPG elements, third person behind the back view. It's no, this is God of War again. They did it again.
Hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Come on.
I guess not. That is sort of the thing they're doing right now, and hey, it looks like it's working for them. So obviously, or maybe not obviously, but pretty famously, Ashley Birch, celebrated voice actor in gaming, does voice Aloy in this game. She does a great job. I really like her work in this and pretty much everything else. I found it interesting. So the likeness of Aloy was actually from a face model, Hannah Hoekstra, and the motion capture for the body was performed by yet another actress, Amanda Pieri, but the facial motion capture was back to Ashley Birch. So we have sort of a three women sort of smushed together into this character, which I like.
Actually.
Yeah, a digital chimera.
So yeah, the soundtrack was good. I don't know if I would say it's this is one of the best ever, but it was a good soundtrack. To me,
it was good while playing it. I don't think that anything really
I think I'm thinking of the ooh, is that the main theme or something I can remember?
I think so.
Anyway, it was composed by Joris Duman, the Flight, which is I guess a band. I'm gonna check this out actually. The Flight are an English musical duo consisting of Joe Henson and Alexis Smith. Okay, and Neil van der Leest and Jonathan Williams. Okay, well, somebody's out of place here. The vocalist was Julie Elvin, who does a lot of singing. There's a lot of like vocal tribal music as well, which I really, really enjoy.
Yeah, and it wasn't... the soundtrack was definitely not bombastic. It wasn't like a Jeremy Soule soundtrack. It wasn't like an Ion Zur soundtrack. It was definitely more subdued in the respect that it blended in, and it felt very very natural and very cinematic at the same time. It helped establish the mood. It was not a it's like it wasn't check out this awesome tune. Yeah. It was
it's very atmospheric. I think. Also, some interesting stuff they did with the music for this, though, was very experimental, like their instrumentation, because they actually worked with using a bow, like a bow for a violin. They actually used that with piano wire in order to make some of these sounds, as well as with electric guitars. And then they also additionally used cellos and other string instruments with guitar picks, or like the back of the bow to sort of like kind of create like a weird... I don't know, like they said they wanted to kind of convey how contemporary instruments would be played by someone who didn't know how to play them if they just found them on the ground.
I can see that.
So it's like, it's sort of an interesting idea of like, okay, like if somebody in this world of Horizon like found like a cello on the ground, they might just like pick at it, right, with something to make the sounds.
Yeah.
But anyway, I thought that was pretty neat. So... the game came out in February 2017, a week before Zelda. Uh-oh. So
that might be a little bit of a whoopsie, but...
It was a little bit of a whoopsie-doodle in retrospect. And so I think this game has a lot of great stuff going on. It is not by any means the same game as Zelda. However, on a surface written level, they are very similar. I think I remember seeing this thing about like, okay, so you have a skilled archer enters this open world, post-apocalyptic world where civilization has fallen and nature has retaken the land. There is an evil corruption that is spreading through the machines that now rule the world, and you set out on a quest to discover where the machines came from and destroy the corruption. That's both of them. I described both of them.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Wow, they were either really confident or had given up all hope for Horizon Zero Dawn. One of the two.
Or it was one of those situations where you've got two different studios that are working on the same concept thematically and have just wildly different executions.
Yes, which happened with Overwatch and Battleborn as well. Like, those two were pretty much 100% concurrently in development, and like they kind of had the same basic concept idea at the beginning, and obviously one did better than the other one.
Yes, the famous Battleborn.
Thank you for reminding me.
Favorite game.
Yeah.
You guys been watching the Battleborn League?
Thank you for reminding me of Battleborn, because it was just kind of like funny to laugh at it for a little bit.
I laugh whenever Randy Pitchford does bad at something.
Yeah, that does actually. I think it extends my life a little bit when that happens.
Except that I liked Battleborn because it did actually have a story, as opposed to Overwatch saying, and its half-ass attempt at environmental storytelling.
The story mode of Overwatch was just YouTube.com.
Literally. No, that is pretty bad. I got so hooked on obviously we're not talking about Overwatch, but I think that the gameplay just hooked everyone in, and probably like the character designs as well. Maybe that's what pulled everyone over to Overwatch instead. Like I did not give Battleborn a go, purely because I think Overwatch won on the PR front, I guess.
Yeah, I know like next to nothing about Battleborn, so I'm not even going to try to talk about it.
Is there a man who's like a mushroom samurai?
Yeah, there was.
Okay.
Unfortunately, since the servers have now been shut down,
right.
Yeah. Release the server mods. Come on. Come on, Randy. Image.
I've heard people say that it was. I've heard more people say it was a pretty good game. I haven't heard a lot of people be like, "Oh, it was awful." Like it just had some execution problems, really. But yeah. Anyway, off of Battleborn. So, like I said, Horizon was released in last week of February in 2017, and the expansion, the Frozen Wilds, was released that year on November 7th. Did y'all play that?
Yes.
I have not yet.
I started playing it. I kind of also got wildly discouraged because the amount of time between the time I finished Horizon and the time I started Frozen Wilds, I had forgotten pretty much everything, so I ended up getting my ass kicked a lot.
Oh, that happens. By the time I bought the game, but by the time I bought the game, it had already it's one of those like seamlessly integrated DLCs, so like I actually did it without realizing I was doing the DLC. Like I just thought it was part of the game, because I got like the complete edition. Yeah. So it was really good though. I enjoyed it quite a lot. So yeah, the reception was really good for this game. Pulled in 89 on Metacritic. But yeah, pretty much like 8s and 9s across the board from everybody. The Ashley Birch got like a ton of praise, as well as Lance Reddick, who he played Silence, our friend.
To be fair, when does Lance Reddick not get a lot of praise?
He's a cool dude.
Yeah.
His name's Lance.
He's got like the best voice. Like, come on.
He does have a good voice.
He does. He has an excellent voice. He does excellent characterizations. He obviously has a lot of fun doing his characters. Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen him doing a role that was A, purely for the paycheck, and B, that he clearly hated.
Is it a spoiler to say that Silence is the villain? I think it's one of those like it's like the whole time it's like, all right, my new mentor who's definitely not going to betray me.
He just shows up out of nowhere. Oh, you're not suspicious
he just shows
at
up.
all.
Yeah. He just shows up and he like knows everything and he's like, I need you to go to this place. I'm not going to go, but I want you to. It's because of science.
Yeah. I won't say he's a villain. I will say he's an antagonist, although a hidden antagonist. But comparatively speaking, he really is helpful. He really is a mentor. And he really does improve or help Aloy improve herself. And he's got his own agenda, yes. He's got his own plans, yes. And you get the feeling that he's probably messing with things he really ought not to be messing with.
Yep.
But you don't really necessarily get the idea of mustache twirling villain out of him.
No, for sure. And that's good because like having nuanced antagonists is not something that video games are known for. So it's good to have something like that. So yeah, Horizon did super well in sales. Estimated to have sold about 11 million copies now. By the way, it released on PC in 2020 as well. Was Sony's first foray into PC games. So had a bit of a rough launch on PC. I don't know if you remember, but it was extremely, extremely buggy. I believe after a few weeks they were able to patch it, and it runs really well now, the Steam version. But yeah, if you're interested in it, is on Steam as well, so go check that out. But yeah, so it, like I said, sold like 11 million copies. It is the 19th best selling PlayStation 4 game. That's nice.
That's actually a lot lower than I thought it would be.
Well, that includes like multi-platform games I'm talking about. Okay. So like Grand Theft Auto, Call of Duty. I'm looking at the list now. Call of Duty. FIFA 17, FIFA 18. Okay, I'm just gonna actually look real quickly and just count the actual like PlayStation games.
Okay.
Okay, it looks like it is the 5th best PlayStation game.
Ah, okay.
Selling PlayStation
The,
game.
the 5th best native PlayStation game.
The rest of them being your Call of Duties and your FIFAs.
Yeah.
So anyway, it did sell really well, especially for a new IP, and of course defying Shuhei Yoshida with our female protagonist. But it did have a really successful launch when it came to PC. Sold about 1 million copies in the first few months, so pretty good. Won a bunch of awards. Famously was nominated for like 8 awards at the Game Awards. Won nothing. Because Zelda won all of those awards.
Yeah, just unfortunate timing for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've never seen so many nominations and so few wins on this big list here.
Bad.
Of anything. It there's always something. So yeah, let's talk about the game a little bit. So I think this game I love the combat in a lot of this game, and I think that the combat is so good because it is so dependent on like the terrain that you're on. Like just the various like hills, cliffs, like water features, trees, like all buildings, all of that stuff plays like a major part in how combat plays out. So obviously you know that Aloy has like a bow and arrow, right? I'm sure you've seen the images.
I've gathered just about that much.
Yeah. So she has a wide selection of arrows that she unlocks throughout the story that have like there's some pretty crazy things in there. I'm trying to remember what else she has. Like obviously you got your basics, like you got your like fire arrows and like bomb arrows and stuff, but then there's like a frenzy arrow, there's like a mechanical interference, like an EMP sort of arrow.
Yeah. The Ripper arrows that actually let you rip off or that shoot off components and also damage armor plate directly. Yeah.
So that is a really cool feature of the monsters that you're fighting, because like if you scan them, you can see the individual components that make them up, and if you aim right, you can knock pieces of their body off, and it actually like affects their abilities during fighting. So it's like if they have some sort of a canister that's allowing them to expel fire and you're able to knock it off, like they won't be able to use fire anymore.
Yeah.
And then when you collect it, you get stuff to make fire arrows out of.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I don't know if you guys used it a lot. Like about like halfway through the game, like I realized I'd been like completely ignoring the rope caster, and I started trying to use it, and I was like, oh my god, this is the best weapon. Like I love the rope caster is so good. You basically are like you like kind of you shoot like hooks with a rope in them to like hook like a monster into the ground and like rope it down like a wild animal sort of a thing.
Yeah, I had the hardest time working with that thing. I don't know what it was.
I could not get it to work that well either.
Yeah, once I figured it out, it sort of like changed the entire thing for me. I also didn't I don't know why I ended up not doing a lot of like firing directly at monsters. Like I ended up almost entirely just using traps. Like I set fire and like electric traps everywhere and just would like trick monsters into running into them and then tying them down while I fought whatever else was going on, like in running into other stuff. I don't know. I think there is some room for like different play styles. Like did y'all develop some other kind of general thing you did?
I was going more the Lakota buffalo hunting method. I would be riding around or running or riding around the monsters and shooting them. I would not be I was not using a whole lot of traps. I was not using a whole lot of bombs. Mm-hmm. I was basically doing a lot of the circle strafing.
Yeah, I think it was pretty much the same for me.
Yeah.
But in games like this, I think generally I always have trouble doing like the more passive combat, whereas I'm a lot more aggressive and just sort of going right at it rather than sitting and waiting or anything like that, or trying to like use trickery or anything like that.
Well, yeah. For smaller machines and for human opponents, I was absolutely willing to sneak around and use the grasses and Assassin's Creed post-apocalypse. But when it came to the big monsters, it was always a case of, yeah, there's really no good way to hide from this thing, so you may as well, face it out in the open and
Right.
Play Matador.
I still some of the fights were like really memorable to me. Like I still remember fighting the Thunderjaw in the plains.
Oh yeah.
Like that was like it was very good. I think there were like I said, the combat was really good. I also agree with you, Kyle, that like because this is like a 50 to 60 hour game, like it does get a little bit tedious at the end there.
Yeah, I don't think I ever really. I mean, and that's just part of this kind of genre, but I don't really like whenever a game gets to the point where it's like, I'm just gonna just keep riding and just ignore this monster or whatever.
I see what you mean. Yeah, like I'm at that point in Yakuza right now. Like I see like a gang of dudes like walking down the street like snapping like they're in Greece or whatever, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna go left. I don't have time for this.
Like at some point, it feels like a waste of time just because you're trying to progress the story, but then like, oh, I'm gonna get sidetracked attacking this robot alligator. I don't know.
Right. Also, robot alligator, very good. I remember fighting one, like getting like thrown underwater and like trying to like run from one, and I was like panicking in real life. I was like trying to get away from it, and like there's like a fucking robot alligator eating my fucking asshole. Just like, get me out of here. I really do enjoy like the terrain and everything here, and like the traversal is really good. So I don't know if y'all saw like in Horizon Forbidden West the trailer for the gameplay trailer.
Yeah.
You know how like people were like, oh, like people are comparing Horizon way too much to Zelda. We need to like maybe do our own thing. So what they've done is that they've added cooking to this game, and then they've also added a glider, and then also you can climb anything.
There you go. Now no one will mistake it for Zelda.
Now no one will mix them up anymore. I was just like open mouthed at that. I was like, there. You know what? I'm kind of happy. I was like,
I've just given up.
If there's a best way to do it, just do it.
Yeah, you just gotta give up. Like, the comparisons are gonna happen anyway, so
it's gonna happen. And also I think they'll have a little space because Zelda's definitely not coming out till like late next year.
Yeah, for sure.
So they'll have a little space to breathe. So Aloy as a character I would love to talk about because I think that it might be fair to say that I don't think I have ever seen a game character become that iconic that quickly after one game.
Lara Croft.
Maybe Lara Croft.
Yeah.
That was a
big gap between them,
ago.
though. Very big gap between them.
Yeah, there's a big gap.
It is a big gap, yes, but
yeah, I think it's interesting that like I don't know. I know PlayStation doesn't really have like a mascot per se, like, but it's weird that I think Aloy might be like the closest thing they do have to that.
Yeah, I mean, it very quickly sort of made itself, a PlayStation game, one of the games you want to,
Yeah, it's a must. Yeah. It's a must play. It's one of the things you buy the console
it's like
for.
To the point where when the PS5 was announced, it's like, all right, when's the next Horizon game? So it's cemented itself as a Sony game so quickly.
Yeah.
This character specifically, though, I think because they did a lot of work. First of all, physically designing her to look like a human woman might look. That was good. I'm glad that they did do that. But secondly, just like making her a very relatable person and having her be like, you can still learn while already being like, she's already a very competent fighter at the beginning of the game. She's already really competent at like, at like most of the things she does, like even if she's still learning. And I don't know. I think it's good. Like you can make somebody like learn the ropes without having them be like a complete novice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I really did appreciate what they did with her in that this is like one of the few games where there's not, oh, here's like the romance story of the game.
Yeah, that's true. There really wasn't any of that.
Yeah.
Like I think they like sort of like, wasn't there one guy who liked her and like she was like, I'm literally fighting a dinosaur robot right now. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, that was
what was his name? Owen or something? Olin, yeah. He's a nice kid.
Yeah, he's kind of a lunkhead, but he is yeah, it's very much a case of, this is somebody that he has not met before, a type of person he has not met before, and it's like, damn, she's good.
Yeah,
it's not, damn, I want to take her home to meet the parents. It was like,
like, oh, I admire
Yeah.
her. I admire her abilities, and it's like,
yeah, she kills machines good.
Which is what we all look for in a lady.
yeah, and it's great, and I think it's interesting. Like in this post-apocalyptic world, there are some, like where our old civilization has been torn down. Like, they did make a cool decision to kind of make it so that there isn't this crazy like stigma against like women doing anything. Like a lot of the tribes just kind of treat them as like people. It's crazy, and it only could happen here in the post-apocalypse.
That's all it's gonna take, ladies.
It's all it's gonna take. So yeah, Aloy's made a bunch of appearances in other stuff. She actually was a playable character in Monster Hunter World, and she was of course in Fortnite pretty famously. I think they said that on Fortnite she was one of the most popular characters they've ever had. Like she actually was even more popular than Kratos or Master Chief,
And
for downloads.
she just appeared in Genshin Impact.
Yes, she did. Which is such a weird crossover, but I really like it because I know Genshin Impact like is still very popular, but obviously most of the popularity is coming from China and areas like that. And I think the fact that she's in Genshin Impact as like a whole character is like a nod to like, wow, she like really does have mass appeal as a character. Like it's not like localized or anything, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's probably go ahead and wrap it up. Do either of y'all want to throw anything else out about this game?
It's an excellent game. For me, the thing that really that always grabs me, or that I always look for, is a good story. And the story here did not disappoint. There was definitely twists and turns, and there were some very serious oh shit moments. Like, oh god. There were a couple of points where I was picking up the required collectibles, the voice tapes and whatnot, and there was a couple of points where I had to stop and just walk away from the game because I had to process it all. Like, oh shit! I did not see that coming, and it literally blew me away. And I was like, okay, yeah, put the controller down, take a break, relax, catch your breath, come back in a little while.
Yep.
And yeah, came back, still blown away, but it enhanced the enjoyment of the game.
That's very high praise. I really bloody need to check this game out finally.
Yeah, you should actually play it. Turns out that the game everyone
good.
said was good is
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, as someone that had it on my shelf and didn't play it for months while it was on my shelf and then finally pulled it out, I can say that if you enjoy a game with a good story, you're going to have a good time playing this one.
Okay.
All right, great. So, one thing I do want to quickly discuss: how does everyone feel about PlayStation's sort of really sort of double walk back on the upgrade thing for Horizon Forbidden West?
Oh boy.
So just for reference, if anyone missed it, what happened is that on Thursday last week, they announced like the pre-orders and like the collections and everything for Forbidden West, which is coming out February 18th, I want to say.
Yep, February 18th, 2022.
Yes, and one of the things in the fine text there that somebody found was that if the only way to get what they call dual entitlement for the PS4 and PS5 versions basically to have the ability to play the PS5 version eventually is to buy the digital deluxe edition for $20 more, and that would give you 2 different copies of the game, and that there was not an upgrade path essentially. So Ghost of Tsushima had like a $30 upgrade to go to the director's cut thing, and everyone was already kind of pissy about that, which is like, I have not seen what the expansion stuff adds, so like I don't know if it's worth that much money personally.
And that's all I've seen, so I don't know either.
Yeah, exactly. So Kyle's even been more duped. Very, very quickly, it was dug up that in an interview last year, Jim Ryan had said very specifically that Horizon Forbidden West would be receiving a free upgrade. In fact, it was an interview that was on the PlayStation blog.
Oh dear, that's embarrassing.
Yeah, and so I think, to my guess at what happened is that whoever was writing up that stuff and making those decisions did not know that he said that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I think they probably said it back then because Xbox was sort of winning the PR front with the smart delivery thing. So they had to say something look like they're on the same page.
Yeah. Let's for a second just stop and apologize to Xbox. We all laughed at them touting smart delivery like it was a big, big deal. And it was a big, big deal. I'm so sorry I laughed at you.
No, for real. Like, to me, it's like a step in the right direction.
I was playing the wrong version of both Final Fantasy VII Remake and Assassin's Creed Valhalla for like 3 hours. And then when I had to get 7 Remake transferred to the PS5 version, I had to like uninstall the game, reinstall the PS4 version, and then install the PS5 version, and then transfer the save between them, and then uninstall the PS4 version.
Yeah, like, smart delivery was just such a good call. It was a step in the right direction for this industry actually being a bit more consumer friendly. So it's very disappointing to see that Sony, because they kept saying that like they had
dumb delivery.
Yeah, they kept saying they had the same thing just without the catchy name. It turns out they fucking didn't, you know. Yeah. Like for real, I think they just got blindsided by Xbox and they had to like pretend that they were going to do the same thing, but they really weren't.
This is going to sound like a dig at Xbox, and I don't want it to be, but like, if Xbox had any good video games, it would be like no contest between these consoles.
No, you're absolutely 100% right, because they are hands down the most consumer-friendly option this time round.
Like, everything about the Xbox except the actual games that they offer is like amazing.
The thing is,
like such a good
Bethesda,
deal and so consumer-friendly.
That could change with Bethesda though.
It definitely will.
Oh, yeah,
but we're gonna have to wait like a year before we even start to see that.
They're playing the long game.
Maybe at that point I'll actually get a next-gen console, because I'm kind of getting tired of my PS4, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay, Kyle, you're that's great. I'd love actually. So are you sort of between going for a PS5 or a Series X right now? Do you have an idea which one you want to go for eventually?
Kind of, because like in my brain I'm thinking, oh yeah, I have a PC, so why would I get an Xbox? But then at the same time, I built my PC in 2014, 2015.
Oof. Yeah.
So it's not going to be able to run anything new.
Yeah. Like the Game Pass, and like having the Game Pass between like your PC and Xbox, and like supposedly sharing save data and all that stuff like between them is like also pretty cool. I am really tempted to get a Series X as well eventually, even though I do have a PC, because like
it just seems so convenient.
It seems so convenient. It's a trap I fell into. Phil Spencer set out a trap in front of my house and I walked into it. I saw a piece of cheese in it and I dove in.
See, you are one of the robot dinosaurs walking into an
I am one of the robot dinosaurs, and Phil Spencer hit me with a rope caster and tied me to the ground. So like I got the that on a deal, like I used that like upgrade deal like in a while ago for Game Pass Ultimate to get like, you know, the whole Game Pass Ultimate thing for $7 a month, and I like did it for 3 years in advance kind of a thing instead of $15 a month. And I did that, and I have Game Pass Ultimate until like March 2023. But like, because I have a, you know, a PC, and I'm using the PC Game Pass. But the thing is, the PC Game Pass sucks, and I hate it. And sometimes it just doesn't work. And like, I think I hit sort of a breaking point on that like 2 weeks ago because I tried to launch Psychonauts 1 and it just turned my whole computer off.
Oh, fun stuff.
I mean, that's how the game is played.
And yeah, anyway, I'm not getting the value out of Game Pass that I've already paid for. I need an Xbox.
That's how they do it. It's how they got you.
Yeah. I think it's actually how Apple does it, for real.
But no, I've decided I'm going for Xbox this time around. Mainly because I had a PS4, but I never really got like that sucked into the exclusives. I was more just playing the games that were on both consoles anyway. And now they have Obsidian and Bethesda, so it's...
Yeah, it's like... If that meme box of the Xbox Series X that had like an image of Todd Howard instead of Master Chief on it was real, like I would have already purchased one.
Oh, easily, yeah. I'm actually just waiting for the stores around me to restock, because then I can get the all access deal, which is like what, £35?
Yeah. Also, that Xbox, the Master Chief Xbox, looks pretty cool.
It does, yeah.
I like it. Anyway, we've gone on long enough, so let's round it out with a are there any ghosts in this game? I can't remember.
Not like the traditional sense.
But I would say that the recordings of human beings would count, and also the visual representations of the various AI subsystems would also count.
Yeah.
One thing real quick about the whole upgrade fiasco. Yesterday there was an update regarding Horizon Forbidden West.
Yeah.
Jim Ryan sent out a mea culpa saying we screwed up, and at this point, he went on. He said, "We're standing by our offer. Players who purchase Horizon Forbidden West on PlayStation 4 will be able to upgrade to the PlayStation 5 version for free."
Yeah, and I believe at the same time he also announced that like going forward all upgrades would be $10, which I will say, just to me, I think is fair. Like if they are doing a lot of extra work getting like 4K done, extra particle effects, lighting, 60 FPS, the DualSense haptics and all that stuff for the PS5 version, like I think $10 is a difference, makes sense.
Yeah.
This one is a different case again because they did specifically like promise that this was going to be free.
Yeah.
And it's definitely I really do believe like I'm not here defending Jim Sony, who's not my favorite man, but I do think that he was probably not informed about the Horizon Forbidden West like dual entitlement thing personally, and before they put it up on the site,
Yeah, it would be a very stupid thing to promise and then blatantly walk back on later on.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it probably was just a
no one's
thing.
gonna remember that we offered it for free.
Yeah, and
gamers would never do
gamers
that. They would
have,
never remember.
short memories. They don't remember things that they're promised. They never want things. Famously,
they'll buy the next Call of Duty installment without even remembering that they complained and bitched and moaned about how the last one sucked.
That's a valid point, actually. Maybe they do have a short memory.
Maybe they do.
Very selective short memory.
There we go.
Selective memory. Okay, great. So, does anyone want to let's go around and just Kyle, do you want to plug anything?
Oh God,
you're working on?
I'm okay this week. I'm good.
You're good. Yeah,
okay.
Plug the good vibes.
Axel, you working on anything?
Yeah. This is shameless shilling now. I am in the process of offering professional game mastering services. You can,
nice.
Basically, since we can't do the whole, gathering around a table and rolling dice thing, we're gonna have to get around a virtual tabletop and do it. I am offering those services. You can find us you can find me on Twitter or at Diecast Theater, also on Facebook, or on the internet at diecasttheater.com.
Okay, neat. Yeah, I've heard of that kind of thing before. I've not used one of those services, but I've heard of that kind of thing.
That's a very cool blowjob to have, though.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Help me eat,
Kyle,
please.
Kyle, when are you going to finally DM?
It's gonna take a lot, and I'm probably gonna
It's
gonna
been
need
5
to
years,
be like
Kyle.
completely wasted the whole time because I'm gonna be way too nervous just to
All
just
right.
do it.
You could always subcontract
Uh,
out to me.
Oh man. Okay, great. And Rhi?
I've actually got a pretty cool interview coming up. I talked to the project lead of Fallout London, that big old mod.
Yeah.
Mod that
Wait, is it the one who got hired by Bethesda?
No, actually, we talked about her, but she was the lead writer, and
She was the lead writer.
yeah,
okay.
and she's now left. But they finished the story before she left.
Nice.
So now they're just doing dialogue. We had a big old chat. It was really interesting because he's like from a similar area to me, like sort of just outside London. So we talked about how you translate a series that's so American into being so British, and it sounds really interesting. I can't wait to check that mod out when it's finally released.
Yeah, I'm actually following that one too. I'm interested. I like that it's a mod with so much care being put into it because I really, if there's one thing I think Bethesda should do with the Fallout games is that it is a very American thing, and like I do have the desire to see other countries. I think as DLC expansions would be great to see some other countries, but like I don't know. The whole thing is based on like the Americana capitalism thing, and like but yeah, like this is a really cool way. I'm interested to see what's going on over in London. I'm sure everything's going well.
I will just say, obviously no spoilers for the interview, but the only message I got from it, really, the biggest one was this isn't going to be a Fallout Frontier situation. This is a
That would be good if
it's
it
a
wasn't.
lot better planned. Like instantly, you could just tell that these people have.
Okay, so no pedophilia
Yeah,
in this one. you think?
hopefully minimal amount of pedophilia. No foot fetish jokes.
Any sexual enslavement?
No, also no sex with death claws. Hopefully, that was an interesting turn that mod took. No, they're taking it a lot more
Yeah.
seriously. So it's like a professional setup they've got. So
I am worried that, but because I would love for Bethesda to release this via their like Creation Club or like on Steam, like they were gonna do with the Frontier before the thing.
I wonder what changed their mind.
I wonder what changed their mind on it, but like yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that sounds really cool. I will actually be reading that once that pops out. Okay, and I don't think I'm doing anything right now. I'm, like I said, sort of taking a step out of doing most of games journalism stuff, but like I've done a few reviews for the GG app. We've been getting into doing some reviews, and you can check those out as well. I'm having difficulty trying to figure out if I can advertise the other thing that I work for on here. I think I can, right? I run this podcast.
yeah, pretty much.
I mean, I'll give you permission if you need it.
Thanks. Yeah, I might do a I think that it might be, you know what? No, I'm gonna do this. We're gonna start having a commercial break. It's gonna sound very professional. No, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Anyway, yeah. So thanks for joining us. We will be back to, so it should be Friday when this goes up. I think September 10th is what I was planning. And we're going to be moving to new episodes on Fridays, so you can enjoy them on your weekend when you're sitting out. Well, I guess sitting inside your home alone, because of I think the COVID's not doing so well right now.
Yeah,
Thanks, Delta variant.
got a bit spicy, didn't it?
Yeah, it's gotten a little bad again. So yeah, but anyway, thanks for joining us. We will see you next time, and we need to outro. I think we need to come up with like an actual like cool tagline outro that we can say. Like
Aloy Jenkins.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Instantly
All right,
just
that
struck
was
gold.
it.
That works.
Yeah.
It's not often you get it right on the first one.
In fact, we almost never do
But-
that.
Yeah, especially if it's me doing it. No.
Yeah. Love it. And he's like, oh, well, things are changing. It's not like it used to be. I was like, it sure isn't, Shuhei.